Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something specific, a pretty sophisticated marketing strategy. It's aimed at trades professionals, plumbers, electricians, HVAC folks, specifically those who've already, let's say, conquered their home turf.
Right. They've got their main city figured out.
Exactly. We're thinking about scaling up in places like, say, the Texas Panhandle. Imagine you're running a great business in Amarillo or Pampa. You're good at what you do. You've hit that point the sources call foundational stabilization.
Which basically means the phone rings reliably, you're visible in your main area.
And your local map rankings are solid. You've solved that initial lack of visibility problem.
But then comes the next big hurdle, right? Every successful service business hits it. How do you grow beyond that core area? How do you achieve regional expansion without the huge cost of opening new physical shops everywhere?
Yeah, because you look at the map, the Panhandle. You see potential jobs, good ones, in places like Canyon or Groom or Borger, towns nearby.
High-value leads, definitely worth the drive sometimes.
So the puzzle is, how do you capture those leads digitally? How do you convince Google and potential customers that you're the expert in Canyon, even if your main office is 50 miles down the road in Amarillo?
And that's exactly what our sources tackle. They lay out a really clear method. It centers on something called geo-service pages.
Geo-service pages.
Yeah, that's the core tactic. It's like building digital outposts to claim those adjacent markets efficiently.
All right, let's unpack that. We know phase I was about locking down your main city. Your Google business profile, your main website pages, dominating Amarillo, let's say.
Correct. High map rank in the core city was the goal there.
So phase two, this regional expansion using geo-service pages, how does the strategy fundamentally shift?
It shifts from broad authority to, well, surgical precision. The sources describe this whole thing as a phased master strategy, and they really emphasize 2 points: clarity in reporting and efficiency in execution.
Okay.
You even have a name for it. Sounds a bit corporate maybe, but it's the YSIWYG promise.
YSIWYG promise. Sounds like tech jargon or contract stuff. What does that actually mean for a tradesperson trying to keep crews busy?
It just means what you see is what you get. Simple as that. Specifically, it applies to the cost and what's guaranteed to be delivered. The idea is transparency. You know the fixed investment needed to target a new town before you commit. No budget surprises. That's crucial for scaling predictably.
Right. Need to know the cost of entry for, say, Borger.
Exactly. So phase 2, the expansion phase. The plan is to systematically target maybe 1 to 3 new towns at a time, Canyon, Borger, wherever it makes sense. And you use these dedicated geoservice pages for each. And the goal, the measurement, completely changes. We stop obsessing only about the Amarillo map rank.
And start tracking
Specific new leads, calls, form fills that come only from that adjacent town, from Canyon, for instance.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's zero in on this core tool,
Yeah.
the geoservice page. You said it's more than just a standard landing page. Define it precisely for us.
It is, yeah. It's a unique standalone page, but it lives on your existing website. Critically, it has to be hyper-optimized
Hyper-optimized how?
for a single high-value service
Yeah.
tied directly to that specific adjacent town. So if your main Amarillo page talks broadly about AC installation Amarillo, your new geoservice page for Canyon needs to be way more specific, something like new AC installation costs Canyon TX. See the difference?
Yeah, much narrower.
And this page isn't really for people in Amarillo.
Yeah.
It's built entirely for Canyon residents searching for exactly that service in their town.
Okay, now here's where I imagine things get tricky. This is probably where a lot of attempts at this fall flat, right?
Absolutely.
Let's say I'm that tradesman. I paid good money for great, unique content for my main Amarillo AC page. Now I want to target Borger, Canyon, Dumas, maybe 10, 12 towns. Why can't I just, take that awesome Amarillo text, do a find and replace on the city name, swap Amarillo for Borger? Isn't that efficient?
That impulse, that's the trap. Just spinning content or basically duplicating it with minor tweaks, that is the single fastest way Google will penalize you.
Penalize how? Lower rankings.
Lower rankings, maybe even getting the page de-indexed. Google's whole system is designed to sniff out and devalue duplicate content. The sources are crystal clear on this. Any agency promising to just spin your content for new locations is setting you up for failure. Your pages will just get buried.
Okay, big red flag there. So the absolute key, the non-negotiable thing for this regional expansion to actually work and be profitable is proving uniqueness.
The uniqueness factor, exactly. You have to show Google and the customer that this page offers legitimate, distinct value and relevance specifically for Borger or specifically for Canyon.
But that sounds like a ton of work. Creating truly unique, valuable content for a dozen different towns. How do you do that efficiently without spending a fortune on custom writing for every single page?
Right, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the answer involves moving beyond just basic writing. It's about smart data synthesis first. This uniqueness factor rests on two main pillars, according to the sources. Pillar one is hyper-local content synthesis.
Okay.
Since we don't have an office or crew living in Canyon, our digital presence there needs to be backed by superior unique information about Canyon.
How do you get that?
This is where you strategically use some advanced AI tools. The sources mention one called Notebook LM. But critically, you don't use it to just churn out generic text.
Okay, what do you use it for?
You use it to synthesize local data, feed it information about competitor service areas around Canyon, any unique Canyon building codes, maybe recent local news relevant to housing or construction, specific permit rules for that municipality.
Wow, okay.
The tool helps cross-reference all that and generates a detailed analysis before you even start drafting the page content. It's like creating an intelligence briefing for that specific town.
So you're approaching content like deep research for each new market, building a unique relevance profile for Canyon that's fundamentally different from Pampa's.
Precisely. You have to.
Yeah.
And that detailed understanding directly fuels the second pillar, unique narratives.
Unique narratives, meaning the actual words on the page.
Yes. The content you draft must speak directly to someone in that town.
Yeah.
You do that by referencing specific things they'd recognize. Local landmarks, maybe well-known neighborhoods, those specific building codes we mentioned.
Can you give a concrete example? How would that look different for, say, Canyon versus Pampa?
Sure. Let's stick with Canyon, Amarillo. Maybe the page acknowledges the specific challenges of HVAC repair in some of the older houses near West Texas A&M University, WTAMU.
Right. Older buildings, different needs.
Exactly. You mentioned that, showing you understand the local housing stock. Now, contrast that with Pampa. Pampa has significant industrial areas, like the refinery district. Maybe there are stricter safety codes or specific permit requirements for installing, say, water heaters in homes nearby due to that.
Oh.
You put that specific technical detail, maybe about required permits or materials, right on the Pampa Geoservice page. That demonstrates real, non-generic local knowledge. It proves expertise to Google and to the homeowner in Pampa. It's not transferable to the Canyon page.
That definitely shows intent. You're not just casting a wide net, you're targeting specific high-value jobs. The sources call this using a local keyword strategy bank, right? Focusing on searches that indicate someone is ready to buy and for a job that's worth the effort.
Exactly. It's not about getting any click. It's about attracting the jobs that justify this focused investment.
And the keywords would differ too, right? In your established home market, like Pampa, maybe you're going after consistent work. The sources give an example like new water heater installation, Pampa, standard but steady.
Right, bread and butter work.
But for a new expansion town like Canyon, maybe you target something more specialized, a higher ticket item that makes the drive worthwhile.
Precisely. For Canyon, the target might be something like slab leak detection Canyon TX. That's often a complex, higher value job. The potential profit justifies the unique page creation and the travel time.
Okay. Or another example they gave us for Borger, maybe targeting emergency work there.
Yeah, Borger might have industrial or residential calls where response time is critical and commands a premium. So your Borger Geoservice page can focus tightly on emergency furnace repair Borger. And by putting that specific city service combo in the page title, the H1, throughout the content, in the meta description, you're sending super clear signals to Google.
And the reward.
Google rewards that clarity and relevance. You get higher visibility, better local map pack ranking, specifically in Borger for that search term. That's the payoff. More qualified calls from that specific town.
Which brings us back to profitability. This whole thing only works if the expansion actually makes money, not just generates clicks. The sources hammer this point measure profitable jobs, not just website traffic.
That's where the clarity in reporting comes back in.
Yep.
It has to be rigorous. No guesswork.
So, tracking. What are the absolute must-track metrics for each geoservice page to prove it's pulling its weight? You mentioned two non-negotiables.
Number one is simple. Lead call volume strictly from the new town. Did the lead come from the Canyon page or somewhere else?
How do you track that accurately?
Dedicated tracking phone numbers for each geoservice page. Unique contact forms on each page. The system has to ensure perfect attribution. If the Canyon page starts generating leads from Amarillo residents, something's wrong with the targeting.
Okay, so clean lead source tracking. What's number two?
Number two is cost per qualified lead. CPL. You have to track your CPL specifically for that new service area for that page. This makes sure the ROI is there. Obviously, your acceptable CPL for a high-ticket job like slab leak detection in Canyon will be higher than for a basic faucet repair in your home market. But it must remain profitable based on your margins for that service.
Tracking CPL makes total sense. But what happens if, say, you launch the Canyon page targeting slab leaks, and after 90 days, the CPL is just too high? It's not profitable yet. You need to adjust, right? Maybe refine the keywords, tweak the page content, change the call to action. Doesn't that refinement process risk blowing up the budget? Suddenly, you're spending more fixing the page than you planned. Doesn't that kill the ROI you were trying to protect?
That's a critical point, and it loops right back to that WY/WG promise and the fixed cost structure.
How so?
Because these geoservice page deployments, they're typically done as part of a fixed price package. The sources call it the Growth Accelerator Package, detailed in their upfront investment guide or rate card. That fixed investment is designed to cover not just the initial research, synthesis, and page build.
But also the refinement.
Exactly. It includes the budget for that methodical refinement loop. So if the CPL on the Canyon page is too high, the process is defined. You don't panic. You go back to a local keyword strategy bank, maybe find related high-intent keywords you missed. You refine the page content, perhaps using AI tools like Gemini, as the sources mentioned, to help draft more compelling ad copy variations or better meta descriptions based on what the data shows isn't working.
So the cost of optimizing the page is already baked into the initial plan. You can tweak and improve without worrying about hourly charges or the budget spiraling.
Precisely. The goal is a sustainable, profitable expansion engine. The digital asset gets continuously improved, but within that predictable, transparent investment. It removes the fear of runaway costs during optimization.
That makes the whole concept of scaling much more manageable. It creates a system.
It really does. And that system is vital. Relying only on word of mouth in your main city that caps your growth, especially in a spread-out area like the Panhandle. For trades businesses serious about significant growth, the path forward really shifts. You move from foundational stabilization in your core market directly into a structured, repeatable model for regional expansion.
It's like a blueprint then, a way to enter new markets using these digital assets, these geoservice pages, instead of having to build expensive new physical locations everywhere.
You're leveraging hyperlocal digital strategy, smart data use, AI efficiency, all to make sure that potential customers in every profitable town nearby know your name and trust your expertise, even if your truck is based miles away.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener, the service pro? It seems the lesson is that geography, the map itself, isn't the hard barrier it used to be.
Right. You don't always need bricks and mortar in every town.
Instead, geography becomes a digital territory, an asset you can claim strategically, town by town, using this kind of hyper-local content that genuinely proves, their specific needs.
It changes the game. And it leads to a final thought, maybe something provocative to consider.
Okay.
If this kind of strategy, focused on deep local synthesis, unique narratives, fixed costs, and AI tools, can let a trades business effectively claim every profitable town across a huge area like the Texas Panhandle, well, what other invisible boundaries might be holding back completely different kinds of service businesses? Are there specialized high-value customer segments or geographic pockets that you currently see as out of reach, but could potentially be claimed digitally with the right hyper-focused strategy? Something to think about.